Alright, yo. So today I'm going to be doing literally just a chill little backtesting session. Honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I'm not really one to backtest anymore. Can't lie. And I don't really need to. I mean, I'm constantly in the live markets and I've gone through all of the data that actually can go in backwards. So I don't actually, need to. But I thought you guys, especially you, of which are newer to the strategy, would really benefit from me going through and saying my exact thought process over everything. I'll just try and touch on everything lightly. And yeah, I'll go through like a month or so over here on gold, see what kind of percent gain we can get over that time. And I mean, that's pretty much it. Really simple idea, but it should benefit all of us quite a lot. Should benefit me. Actually backtesting for the first time in ages too. I'm just going to be using my simple supply and demand strategy. Most of you probably know it. If you don't, I'm just going to be looking for a level of liquidity in front of my supply or demand zone. And it's just going to be an extra confluence that no one really uses, to be honest, for some reason. It's literally one of the biggest movers of the market. But it's just going to be increasing our win rate, increasing our risk to rewards, and just make a really powerful strategy, as I always say. So what I'm seeing right now, and what I'm going to do pretty much at the start of every day, is just get a quick little feel on trend. You really don't need to zoom out far. I know for maybe different time frames you do like top down. We're just going to be looking at the current trend for the 5 minute, which is why I like it so much. Just less work, to be honest. Not being lazy or anything. We were going bullish, but reacted off something to the left, and we've been making consistent bearish market structure. So if you were to look, some of you probably saw, nope, completely invalid. Oh yeah, we're not going to be using accuracy zones, if you wondered. But yeah, something like this would not be valid, and I'll quickly explain why, quickly touch on it. Really not nice liquidity. Oh, that's not a line. Really not nice liquidity at all. Pretty much one candle. And all of this structure towards the zone is just not great to see. If we want to go upwards, why are we showing such bearish intent? You know what I mean? So something like this that is going in favor of the current trend would be great. And it's got a great level of liquidity in front of it. I really like the look of this. I'll mark out liquidity. Liquidity's low is broken. All we need to see now is some rejections, to be honest. And this will be the first valid trade. Yeah, that's also very nice to see. Can't lie. Kind of made a swing towards our zone. Oh, I can draw this out. Made a swing towards our zone. If we were to come here and then come up, we'll be pretty much doing what I was just saying. Kind of make a bullish structure towards our zone. It's not always going to completely invalidate it for us, but this is kind of using it as a confluence. Made that swing and then broke another low. Pretty much just adding another level of liquidity and confirming trend. Alright, gold. Let's try and get... Okay, that's valid entry. Went too quick there. Try not to go too quick. It's also on 2. So flip entry would be valid. That's kind of more technical. I'm not going to go through flip in this video really. If you wanted to break down on my different entry models, that will also be in my Discord. Quite a lot will be over in my Discord. Stop loss of 423 pips. Something else that's in my Discord. I'll chuck it on screen right now, give you guys some source. This is going to be the optional TP rules for gold specifically. There'll be one of these for every single different pair that I trade. And it's pretty much saying, for this many pips in our stop loss, what should we be targeting? And it's been backtested over years. And it's just taken into account the overall volatility of the current market. Like, if we were to go to a 1 to 3 here, this is going to be major breaks of structure and whatnot. It's just kind of, just going off the volatility per setup, and you can use that for literally every single setup. So 400 pips, that'll be in the 200 plus pips. And I mean, let's just kind of see what kind of volume we can get is what I was gonna say. Jesus. All right, nice, really nice. 1.5% already. this is definitely what I'd consider an A+ trade. A to A+, I wasn't a big fan, a huge fan on going and showing this many rejections from a point towards the left. But, I mean, everything else, the liquidity, where the zone was formed, really, really nice, 1.5%. We could also target potentially the low for a 1 to 2, just knowing that liquidity likes to sit on lows and highs. There'll be a level of stop losses just below here that the market wants to seek out. Yeah, really nice. We'll see if the market wants to go lower. It's actually the end of session, so we'll just see tomorrow. I might delete it. Nice. Right. To the next day. That is a 1 to 1.5. Yeah, I'll just be going off those optional TP rules pretty much all video. Right. Okay, I've kind of gone really fast. Okay, way too fast. Let me not look. Right. What am I seeing? Super bullish. Very, very bullish. Literally from the start of the day. Just been showing higher highs and higher lows. Really simple stuff. Can't really get much simpler than that. Don't need to look further back at all. I'm seeing a couple of valid zones. Once again, no accuracy zones, if you know what that is. Just because on gold and NAS we won't be using accuracy zones. These two zones, I'll also mark out the levels of liquidity and why they're valid, since they broke liquidity's high in both examples. Came up for this example, made liquidity, broke liquidity's high, and you can see the exact same just here, broke that high. So these two are super valid for me. Yeah, definitely not in the market for sells right now. Has that tapped? No, because I've not got it marked out perfectly. Right, that's better. See if we can get rejections. Has that tapped now? I feel like I'm not marking it out right. Yeah, I'd say that's tapped. Literally by the pip. But we're showing so many rejections already. So many, so much. And this is why it's really important to actually wait for an entry model. Thought that would be a good point to mention. If we entered here because we, I don't know, had FOMO and didn't want to miss the trade, then we would have gotten stopped out by coming, you know, deeper into zone to actually get our entry, which is where the investors are going to be getting in at. We finally got back to this price that they wanted to actually take. So that's going to be our entry model, just directional close every single time. Stop loss really, really tight. See how tight we can actually get it. Right. Reason I did that, we're now actually under 100 pips, which if we go back to the optional TP rules, save that somewhere or just join the Discord, that'll be in there. That's going to put us to a 1 to 3, which will just be really, really, I mean, it's, yeah, 0.5 RR up from the category just under it. Might as well. I mean, that's half of a loss just covered. Definitely worth kind of trying to preserve capital and make extra capital where possible. Just kind of hold in winners potentially. Once again, I'm just going to be using the optional TP rules, just make stuff really easy. Yeah, let's just see movement. Oh my god, that's 3 candles. I'm already there. Right, that was a lot quicker than I expected. Plus 3%. Literally just going to be 1% in pretty much every trade on the 5 minute. Simple stuff. Going off the theory that we just mentioned, there may be liquidity sitting above here for a 1 to 4.5 or up here for a 6 RR. Now, these are both 1 candle liquidities. They won't be valid for our liquidity for our zone, but there may be valid liquidity to take for a take profit. Yeah, just not super convincing, but there still will be kind of like a weaker level. So there's potential to literally double. Oh my god. Okay, I thought we were going to come down there. Right, yeah, wow. 6 RR. I'm just going to be adding 3% for all of my back-tested results. I make a cute little spreadsheet with all of my... Oh, I've actually got it up here. yeah, all of my results, so that will be over in my Discord too. Just kind of putting it numerically easier to kind of read. And yeah, I mean, 1 to 3 RR, that is insane pretty much for any strategy. I can't lie, that's a lot better than quite a few. I'm not going to judge or compare to other strategies, but I definitely like not going for 1-to-1s every trade. Nudge, nudge. Right, let's not talk on that. Let's talk about our strategy. Right, coming towards the end of the day, I wouldn't really take this lower zone anymore. As you can see, pretty much with the first trade, I was talking about that demand example, and it's a demand, and we're seeing bearish structure towards zone, which if we're looking for buys, why would we be going against a bearish trend, you know, a downtrend? So probably wouldn't be valid for me anymore, even if we do get an entry now. Yeah, especially just making, once again, another swing, breaking, and I think it, yeah, just straight up closed inside anyway, so it wouldn't have even given a valid entry. Right, really nice, good capital preservation on that one too. If we close inside zone before entry, that's just going to be completely invalid for us. And we're at 3 again. Nice, already 4.5 RR up. That is a really, really nice start. Okay, I've actually gone too far. That's going to be really important when backtesting. Try not to go too fast, because let's say if you see an entry and then you go back and then you're like, oh no, I would have entered there. I swear, guys, I swear. It's not really showing to yourself that it can be super profitable. You're kind of going off hindsight in a sense. You want to trade backtesting how you're trading in the actual live markets. That would be entering before you've seen that it goes in your favor, obviously. What am I seeing today? Once again, just looking over trend, pretty uptrending, some space for potential retracement, so I'd be looking for buys. No valid demands though. Potential, nope. Oh, I was seeing if we could break this high. That'd be a nice level of liquidity just formed here. Looks like we didn't want to. What time are we at now? Still just 10. Gonna have to see a whole move, whole setup being formed, which is not looking very likely. At 1 now. No valid zones to the left. Yeah. Not broken low. I'm just gonna go to the next day. No valid trades there. And there is going to be days like that. Once again, we're trading like 6 pairs, I'm pretty sure. So can't expect a trade every single day on just one of our pairs. That would kind of be too much work, to be honest. So, yeah, one sec. My bad. Stay hydrated, guys. Uptrending. Same as before. Clear fair value gaps, imbalances, and just clear space for retracement. I'm looking for buys. Valid demand, that I'll mark out. Some more even lower, but we'll see if we actually get down to that point. What I'll actually do then. Ooh, is that tapped? Hasn't even given valid entry yet anyways. That's given valid entry. This was valid for break. I will just go off close just to be super transparent. Once again, I just don't want to give anyone the wrong idea. 155, that does actually put us into the bracket below, so it would have been good to get that flip. But yeah, we're just going for a 1 to 1.5 now. I'll test it for both. In fact, it might even be similar TPs. If we're down here, we'd actually be targeting, okay, just a 1 to 2 with 150 plus. 1 to 2 would be there. So yeah, definitely would have been good to get that break. Pretty much just saying that that was valid for break. See some movement. That's great movement. Actually really, really nice. Jesus. These candles are crazy. I swear I don't usually see these candles in live markets. I mean, these would have been trades that I took, to be honest. But Super, super clean. I just love movement like that. Once again, potential to take to the high. If we're uptrending, market will likely just want to, yeah, break that high. Also liquidity sitting above there, literally just so much pulling upwards. Also the previous retracement, we'll see if we want to continue going upwards. But once again, I'm just going to be taking the optional TP rules, 1 to 5, 1 to 1.5, 1 to 5 would have been nice. 1 to 1.5 is still just a great risk reward, which will, yeah, really just treat us long term. Still valid zones that actually also formed another valid zone. If you wanted to come down to that, another one up here. I mean, okay, I was not looking. I guess that's the retracement I was just talking about. Always nice. Yeah, I mean, definitely not coming down to any zones at this point. Straight to the next day. I mean, this is just a great example. We're ticking everything that the market wants to see before continuing in our direction. There's like kind of 3 core pillars or core factors, however cringe you want to say it. I need to come up with a cool quote. Where was I going with this? Market structure, liquidity, and just supply and demand zones. Reached that demand, got liquidity, and now this is just straight market structure to the upside. Right, to our session, 8 o'clock. I'm looking for sales literally all day. We've just been downtrending really, really cleanly too. And like I literally just said, very, very clear space for retracement. We're never going to just continue in this straight line forever. So that's why price is going to want to retrace. Valid supplies. I'll actually mark out this one just here. Another one just here. Can't have another one above. Not as nice. But I'll see if you want to get up to there anyways. I just completely forgot the keybind to go forward. See if we can get a nice rejection. Or a wick. At all. Kind of not looking... Okay, that's valid entry. That is a very valid entry. I was going to say it's kind of not looking too nice. Kind of showing a lot of consolidation. Which could also just be a build-up of orders once again. Replace liquidity, like I said in first example, second example, previous example. This was our valid liquidity. Came down, broke the low. Came up, didn't tap yet, but we actually made another low, kind of like internal structure that we went broke, then broke, confirming downtrend. Once again, directional close, keeping our stop loss tight, 201 pips. If I actually mark out correctly, it's 206 pips. I thought we were going to go to the bracket below. Yeah, 203 pips. I'm not getting there. I'm really pushing it. Right, that is 1 to 1.5 once again. Super, super, kind of like quite a lot of volatility in the market. I think that's kind of why there's a lot of 1 to 1.5s, but still, like they really do add up. Still a really, really great risk reward. Jesus, oh my god. I accidentally went forward like 3 candles and we're, yeah, retracing a lot. Nice 1 to 1.5 hit. Once again, as I always say, could have taken to the lows. I should probably try and say it before something like this happens last time. It's one of those things like you think of, but if we look over to the left, we're kind of coming to a point where we could see some bullish momentum from. Not really any more fair value gaps to fill, like a tiny one. But yeah, we've filled pretty much most of that move. Doubt we're going to come and see any more setups today anyway. Already getting to midday. But yeah, I mean, could have taken that from a 1 to 1.5 to something a lot crazier. Once again, not saying that a 1 to 1.5 is bad. It's literally, I'm going to be taking these optional TP rules most of the time. And it's so easy. It's literally just so simple, makes sense. And I can trust it since I backtested it. I made these sheets. It's just... yeah, Yeah, I went too fast before we actually ended session, but this completely got invalidated. Just close inside. That's not going to be valid anymore for us. Right, another. Oh, so not a 1 to 3. Another 1 to 1.5. I don't know what percent up we're at right now, but we are 100% win rate right now. Not to say we're always going to be. Even if we did have a loss, even if we had 2 losses, these risk rewards are going to be covering so much of that to a point where it's not really going to put a dent in our profitability, into our actual profits. Downtrending, I think we can all kind of nod our heads. This is making a lot of lower lows, lower highs. That was not very clear, but the chart is very clear. If we go up here, it might be a lot less clear. Why I say that, it's kind of a really, really strong level of support. Just down here, 3 pretty big taps once again from that area of consolidation that I mentioned previously. Have to wait and see. We can definitely trade up within that noise. I wouldn't really be looking for sales now anyway, unless we were to break this low. Do we consider that another tap? Okay, that's breaking off the low. That's more like what I was talking about. Already half one though. Any supplies? Yeah, I think we can all see this. Okay. Really do love to jinx myself. There was a valid supply here. Lovely level of liquidity. Lovely. When do I say lovely? Not really any more valid setups though. So that was kind of everything. So definitely no trade's going to be presented today. Okay, yeah, 3 o'clock. That's somebody talking. Like Trump, Powell, somebody just messing up the markets. Nice that it's always more or less at the end of our session. What I'm seeing right now, we're sitting on a lot of gaps. Once again, pretty much every day has presented a lot of area for retracement. But just looking at, you know, what's going on right now, current trends, kind of uptrending, there is a valid demand. We'll see what price. Okay. So pretty much what I'm seeing, I kind of need to like say what I'm seeing. Sometimes I just make noises. Not very descriptive. Liquidity is valid. High is valid. Zone. There it is. That's valid. But yeah, not really the nicest. As you can see here, it's just, I mean, the swing that liquidity's formed on, completely valid. But here, kind of looking pretty choppy. I mean, just explaining it's kind of hard. But if I was to draw it out, made that higher high, and then failed to break that higher high. If we broke up here and then came down, that'd be really, really nice. Just failing to break highs isn't always going to be the nicest. Still not invalid, just going to be making it from a potential A setup into probably like a B. Yeah, I'm just going to say B. I wouldn't really say B plus for this. Great rejections though. I was going to say I'm going to forward test this. I want to forward test it in backtesting. It's always just great to see. I mean, I'm already here. I might as well see what would happen. So if I see something like this in the live markets, I can go off historical data and actually just say what's happened before. That kind of makes sense. Entry would just be here. Stop loss, 157 pips, 1 to 2. Kind of a big stop loss considering how big the setup is proportionally. But I mean, take profits still at the highest, got potential. Not really something I'd look to take. It's not really the nicest to me. I just like to be more confident. I mean, I've said so much kind of swaying me otherwise that I've got the discipline to not take not A plus trades. Wow. That's a loss. Once again, I said I wouldn't take it, so I'm not going to count that as a loss towards my backtesting results the same way that I wouldn't count that as a win if it was to win. Literally, yeah, just like a forward test in backtesting. Kind of a dumb way to say it, but yeah, I hope you guys know what I mean. Right, just kind of on to the next one. There is a much nicer demand below it. Still just at 10. We are sitting on a lot of gaps. We're just going to have to wait and see, to be honest. Like rejections, it is a pretty big demand. I can't lie. Let's just see. Okay, yeah, closed inside anyway. That makes stuff so much easier. And yeah, that was our level of liquidity. Super clean. I love the zone. It was our bottom zone. Maybe a bit big, even for how big the setup was. Maybe it's all right. It's not the best. It's not the worst. Would have just been all right. And it validated. That's something really nice. And might as well talk about it whilst I'm looking for another potential setup. I'll just remove this quickly. Supply up here potentially. Kind of showing bullish towards. We'll see. Don't hate it if we were to come up here. What I was saying, if a setup isn't going to have the investors inside the market to actually want to buy off it, then it isn't going to show the rejections enough to give us our valid entry model. And that's going to let us preserve so much capital. Are we in session? Yeah, no, I actually do quite like this zone, especially after invalidating both demands. It's still showing rejections down here. Wouldn't be valid for us, but it's probably valid for someone. With all of these gaps below, I would definitely look to take this. Let me give a little bit of a breakdown here. Right, liquidity. Liquidity's low is broken, super clean. If we were to come up from there, A+, no doubt about it. Then what we kind of saw what could have been bullish structure to the upside, but then we broke another low, confirming a downtrend. This is something that I would take in the markets. And stop loss is not big at all. Well, it might be technically. No? Let's see how frugal we can be. Oh no, I don't think we're pushing it to yeah, I don't think you should push it or like try and push it to the bracket below or anything. It's not something that I do live markets. Just kind of having fun with it. I'm not a big fan of backtesting. Trying to make it as fun as possible, I guess. Yeah, anyways, 105 pip stop loss, 1 to 2.5. Once again, for how big structure is, I'd say we could target more than that. For this video, I'm just going to take those optional TP rules though. It's been super transparent and showing you how mechanical this strategy can actually be. If you wanted to, you didn't have to think at all. Literally don't have to put a thought into it. Just kind of like look through the rule book that I have and just put it straight into the charts. And as you can see, fucking already just great movement. Nice. So clean. Really clean. So as you can see, if you get up the optional TP rules, there will be options to close at break even. I mean, here it didn't even close break even, but that's always going to be a potential. Maybe you're in drawdown or something. That is just going to be great for, once again, preserving capital. It's always going to be good to play long term. You know, keep your hands on as much capital as you can. Yeah, I mean, wouldn't have even wicked you out at break even on this trade and go straight to take profit once again. And I've actually stopped it before it's shown it. Let's see if there is any liquidity sitting below this low. I mean, below this low, kind of optimistic. Yeah, super clean. Are you feeling optimistic? Looks like the market is. Let's see if a 1 to 8 is hit. Oh, of course the one time I actually bloody try. Yeah, kind of showing a lot of rejections off of this demand down here. Invalidated for us. I wouldn't want to go against our zone that's just shown so many rejections anyway. But once again, 2 swings here and fair value gaps below. could have gone to fill the fair value gaps. The more experience you get, the more intuition you can kind of have, just saying, like, yeah, imbalances in the market here. There's a lot of liquidity sitting below these two swings here. Like, it's going to allow you to literally, for this example, double your take profit so easily. So just keep that in mind. Something to backtest, something to take notes on 100%. And just try and be aware in live markets. Don't get greedy. It's not going to be about getting greedy. It's going to be about maximizing our winners. And we're outside of session. Straight to the next day. Really great results so far. Have I lost? No, I haven't. There was that one trade, but I literally explained how much I didn't like it. So, 100% win rate. I will give myself a pat on the back for that. I'm not going to give myself a pat on the back for just going straight through our bloody session. Need to wake up a bit. Right, what am I seeing? Once again, what is it with like 1 AM and gold? A lot of area for retracement. We'll see if we continue making bearish market structure to actually look for sells. There is a valid zone, valid as per se, not really nice at all. Not showing clear direction, especially with this current swing. Something to keep my eye on. Validated this demand, so I don't need to think about that because we did technique breaker high, but once again we're sitting on so much to the downside. I would not have liked that at all. See what we can do. Potentially break a low would really be convincing. Kind of matched, but technically broken. There was a potential supply here. I am kind of going fast. Potential supply here, completely got invalidated. Anyway, just close inside. Yeah, more or less just still that zone that I was looking at up here. If you want to come up cleanly, if you come up now, I probably wouldn't take. Yeah, this is terrible. We're pretty much just showing a complete range. Just straight consolidation. Nothing that I want to be trading in. I'm just going to remove this now. Past our session anyway. Jeez. Another no trade day, which is not bad at all. So much better than a lost day. Even if it was a lost day. Have I just gone through an entire day? How's that happened then? How have I done that? Right. I'm seeing bearish. 100%. We're reacting from a potential area, just going off logic. There's a lot of bullish momentum from here. So there's potential to be, what am I trying to say? Investors buying from here. We'll see if we want to go bullish from here. Here. Said that a lot. That will pretty much just be determined by, are we going to break this high up here, or are we going to break this low down here? And then also continuations off of that. Are we going to continue to make that structure? Broke the high after, that was conveniently marked out for me, after showing a strong level of resistance. I'm in for buys. Not to say that there will be any setups thrown today. There's not really been the start of a setup, apart from if a level of liquidity is formed in front of there. But I'll leave this on to remind myself. But yeah, we're definitely looking bullish. Cleanly so too. Yeah, this invalidated. It didn't even make liquidity yet, but even if we were to make liquidity and invalidated. Also showing great rejections once again. If I can mark this out without being an idiot. Just a triple tap. Coming towards the end of our zone, so I can't capitalize off of that. But it's going to be stuff like that. There's going to be just like extra confluences. Pretty much just price action. Just what likes to happen. And straight on to the next day. Potential supply. Not a big fan on how we're coming back up to the zone. I'll mark it out just so you can see what I'm talking about. Can't remember if I mentioned trend. What? Bit more advanced, but you can definitely use it. Just going to be like visual kind of. Boom. Kind of tapping off a previous area that could have been resistance. And it's pretty much determined by, spit it out Arthur, Arga. You guys don't know my name. Determined by, yeah, I mean, how many previous taps we've had off of a key kind of resistance, support resistance area. You don't have to use that. It's kind of, you don't need to overcomplicate it. It's just going to be little stuff. Completely validated. I wasn't really in the market for sells for that reason. And once again, from the start of the day, all we've been showing is higher high, higher low, higher high, higher lows, with, you know, a lot of other swings too. More minor swings. Valid demand. A couple valid demands? Yeah, a couple valid, really, really nice demands, with a lot of time in the day to actually come back down. Kind of more of a fan. Liquidity here is really nice, so this is valid, but I like how this zone is formed more. We're on the bottom of a swing, pretty much saying if we're uptrending, that's the lowest point we're going to want to go before continuing in our direction. Just another confluence. I love as many confluences as I can get without overcomplicating it. I think there's a sweet spot when it comes to knowing a lot and knowing too much. Does that make sense? No, I meant to say there's a fine line. So it's easy to go overboard, but I mean, I don't look at any other strategies. I don't do anything like that. Right, I think this is end of the day. Yeah. To the next. Saved by the bell. I started waffling for real. So I've gone over how many days? I'll remove these so I don't confuse myself. How many days have we gone over? Started on the 15th. I couldn't go to the start of the month, so I thought exactly midway through the month would be the next best thing for all of us OCD fellas. I don't have OCD. So yeah, pretty much 14 days, half a month or so. Don't know how many trades we've gotten, but we haven't actually had a loser yet, which is never a bad thing. Literally never a bad thing. Once again, even if we did, it wouldn't matter, considering how much capital we've actually made off the back of the strategy. Today, kind of showing possible rejections, not from a valid demand for us, once again, but from a potential area of demand. So we'll see if you want to go bullish, see if you want to go bearish. Looks like we're continuing in this bearish market structure. I'm in for sells right now. Well, no, I'm not in for sells. I'm looking to get in for sells here. Zone kind of made on a swing. Once again, just another little confluence that we like to see. Liquidity's very nice. I mean, we just see a lot of wicks, and none of them took out the one before it. You know, there will be a pretty strong level of liquidity hit. Excuse me, here. Okay. That also works. Thanks, guys. Just completely invalidate it. Not a fan of up here. For that reason too, I guess. I'm a fan of up at this supply zone a bit further back. Getting a bit old. Also coming to the end of the day, so we'll see. Reason I like this. Liquidity. All of which broke their respective lows. Like, even if we were looking at this one, it's still just a super valid level, not too far from zone. Nice size of zone, made on a swing. All of the little stuff that I mentioned already that I look for every setup. Did we just close inside? Are we dead ass right now? No, that's actually not a close inside just yet. Oh. Right, mint. Let's mint that. Completely just shot through. But if it wanted to lose, it didn't even give us a valid entry model once again. Just wait for our entry models. It's going to reward us long term. You might have seen this back here. This other zone, didn't like it at all. Wasn't formed on a swing. Wasn't the highest point in our structure. Yeah, just kind of a lot of, yeah, getting really old too. Shot straight through. Nice. Just going to the next day. There's literally going to be no valid setups that we're going to come back to in this short amount of time. Showing a lot of potential retracements. Even more potential retracements for the next day that I've already gone balls deep into. Oh my god, man. What am I seeing? Demand. Pretty bloody big demands. Very large, especially considering the proportion of the zone to the setup. Would like to see the zone smaller. Liquidity is, in fairness, very nice. Liquidity's high is clearly broken. A lot of closes above. I think we're at all-time highs, so we're not actually rejecting off of anything further to the left. Might not be all-time highs. I'm only on the 5 minute, and I don't know shit about economics, or the economy. Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see for rejections. Don't know if it'll be something. No, not yet. Don't know if it'll be something that I would actually take. Ooh. Especially now. I mean, we've shown a bearish swing against us. I'll forward test it. Once again, I don't know if I'm going to add this to my back tests. Just, yeah. No, let's add it. Let's add it. And it has actually already given an entry and gotten stopped out. So we'll see if there's re-entry. Everything apart from kind of the zone itself, the size of zone, and where zone was formed, not on a swing, and we're sitting on some gaps. Apart from those, really, really clean. If you just squint really hard and don't look at the bottom of the setup, then it is very clean. And now I've actually made a swing potentially to the downside, so it's kind of put this from B plus to B. It was never really an A setup, to be honest. No, I'd say it was an A setup. I mean, it's just the zone. Really put me off. But this is kind of showing why bigger zones aren't as valid, and this is a great talking point quickly. I mean, this is a backtesting video. This isn't like a big lesson. But my thought process on bigger zones is essentially, we tapped into zone just. If this was a deeper wick, then it would be more valid. The fact that I'm looking at this green candle just here, I'll actually go back so you can see what I'm talking about. There is a price in this entire zone that institutions and banks want to get in on. We don't know what price that actually is. It may be down here, maybe down here, maybe down here. That's why on a smaller zone, literally proportionally to the pips, there's going to be a much higher chance or ratio that we are going to hit that specific price, or at least wicket, where they're going to be getting in at. There's literally like, I wonder how many pips this is to the entire zone. That's our chance that was the price that they wanted. It's just that whole kind of thing. That's how I like to see it. I don't know if that's like, actually what's going on. But as you can see from the next candle, we get a deeper wick inside a zone. Can't talk right now. And yeah, we shoot off. So this may have been potential for flip, which is another one of my entry models that I mentioned before. But, I mean, this kind of shows all three. I probably would have taken break as kind of the middle ground of riskiness, if you want to see it that way. Considering this a re-entry, you kind of want to be a bit safer. So if you did just take it at the directional close, that's still also completely valid. I'm gonna... let's look at both. Just kind of covering all bases. I'll put it in my back tests as close. Why not? It would have the same take profit anyway. Literally all of them are over 200 pips, so I'll just go off directional close. Fuck it. Frog it. 1 to 1.5, as we know. Just refer back to that spreadsheet for every single setup, so you're going to be able to refer to my optional TP rules. Dare I hype myself up? They're fucking gas. Literally so useful. But I'd say there's definitely space to go higher than these TP rules. Let's see movement anyway before I gas myself up. Another tap. Not great to see. Well, it is great to see. It's great to see. It's not great to see. Okay, fuck me. It's not great to see us coming back down to zone. But theoretically, if we are to come back down to zone, showing rejections once again is going to be the best case scenario. And this is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. That's more like it, gold. That's more like it. Nice. Okay. Was a win. Not the cleanest. I'm going to throw my hands up in the air. Say, Jesus, that wasn't nice to see at all. Probably, potentially, a break even. Unless you just wanted to stay out of it. And I'm not saying that emotionally. Just saying that because we're not seeing, literally within 2 hours or an hour, hour and a half, any kind of movement is super choppy. Just lower chance that institutions and banks are actually in this trade specifically. But it won. I'll leave it in my backtest since I also kind of onboarded the risk on the fake out even before I saw this one win. So that would technically be plus 0.5%. If this is re-entry, you could be safe and cover your previous loss that was the original entry, or you can go for more. Once again, just gonna, do you have the buffer on your account? If this was to lose, would you be completely alright with that? Is it gonna fuck up your psychology? You have to look at yourself and actually look at, what am I okay with? By this point, I'd definitely be out the trade. I mean, yeah, we're coming to swap hours. That whole kind of thing. I mean, yeah, on to the next day. Obviously, I was just kind of seeing how that might have panned out. Yeesh, that's a lot of movement. Right, start of our session. Showing bearish, technically, if you wanted to look at it just like fucking fist in your face, technically showing bearish. But if we look to the left, reacting off of a potential point that we could go bullish from, I'd need to see more confirmation before I double down on anything right now. Okay. So there was kind of a zone here. Not great. Not bad though. It's actually the lowest demand on this entire swing. There is some more gaps below still. But yeah, completely invalidated before I even gave entry. There is also another one very far back. Realistically, it's rare that I'd ever actually take something like this in live markets, just because I like to see the zone formed and tapped on the same day. So the same kind of institutions, investors, banks that missed that original move to begin with would still be getting into it. Like, they're still interested. I mean, that just makes sense. It's kind of like, you can look at it as a more active zone if it's more recent. Still going to be potential. Once again, just kind of experience. It's going to come off as, you know, behavior when we get to zone. Is it going to reject well? Fuck me. Here it is. Okay. Entry. I'm going to say that I would have taken break on this. I didn't actually see this original wick before I called anything. But I say this because, and not just because we've shot off with good volume, I promise. If I zoom in a lot, you can see we almost closed bullish. That is showing also with a wick this big that we've got the rejections. Like, it's clear to see we have good rejections. If it closed literally a pip or two higher, okay, it actually might be more like 15 for gold. That's only because it's fucking tiny pips. Or a lot of volatility, actually. That would have been a valid entry if this was to close literally that much smaller amount higher. So breaking just kind of reduces the chance that we shoot off without actually giving our valid entry. As something that you can take with yourself into live markets. If you know the theory behind swings, the hour candle started here. Every higher time frame candle, even, here, we can see that every candle has a wick. We get rid of that lower wick before continuing to the upside. Once again, just another confluence. Wouldn't make it valid for flip entry. If you're more interested on that, I'm not going to go into a deep dive on that here. That's kind of advanced stuff for the strategy. But break of candle, 338 pips. Once again, it's still just going to be a 1 to 1.5. With this kind of volatility, I'd definitely aim higher live markets. Not going to lie to you. Yeah, like we've already almost tapped that. And other than these gaps, there's not much more room below us that we need to go. Like, there's not much going against us. That's all I'm trying to say. I really do like this setup. It's just the timing, how long it actually took. That's kind of put me off. But, as you can see, nice. 1 to 1.5 hit. Kind of said that before I knew it hit. That would have been a generational aura loss if that lost. I'll just keep it in mind. Would there be liquidity sitting above here? Technically yes, but just how strong is the market going to seek it? Because we could 3x our reward if we were to go off those theories. Technically, actually, we could get a better risk reward. That's what I'm trying to say. Especially with how big the whole setup actually is. Is that valid? No. Yeah. All of those were seeked out. Valid entry down here. No, what I'm seeing, and I'm kind of skipping over it because they're all invalidating or not hitting. Demand here, completely invalidated. Demand here, completely invalidated. And it will kind of be riding off the back of this one. Can't lie. We're showing so much bullish momentum after we've hit a demand. Yeah, looking good for buys, but we're getting to the end of the day and we haven't tapped any of those. So unfortunately, straight to the next day. Which, it's not unfortunate, we just hit a fucking 1 to 1.5, technically. Or realistically, it would probably be more than that. But once again, I'm just being super transparent and mechanical, going off the back-tested data. This tapped before our session, before 8 AM. Right. Even then, not the nicest. Kind of made a swing to the downside. Kind of didn't break these highs up here. It broke liquidity's high. Not super convincing. Not convincing me. Probably wouldn't have taken. Theoretically, why am I saying that like a neek? Okay, right. It's just stuff like this that kind of makes it confusing. Let me get that out of the way because that's not a valid trade. Trend-wise, as we can see, not super convinced either way. Probably looking, it's kind of bullish, but then we're also got some bearish tendencies. Lower high made, lower low broken just here. Also lower low broken just here. Also lower high made just here. So could definitely be. Oh no, yeah, no, this isn't a valid supply anyway. What am I talking about? We made a green candle and then we tapped, so any investors would have just gotten that better price there. Right, cool. Don't have to think about that. Would have lost anyway. Perfect. But it would have lost because it isn't valid for our strategy. Is this demand gonna get rejections? Nope. There was a demand just here. Potential demand just here. If we get rejections, obviously. This day is arse. Doesn't look like anything's really gonna pan out today. Are we gonna come down in 10 minutes? Hell nah! Oh, that was cringe. Right, 8 AM the next day. Simple stuff. It's literally This is what I was saying at the start of the video. Wow, I skipped a lot. Nothing's happened. Market isn't on shit, it's fine. Can't remember what I was going to say. Oh, it's going to annoy me. I'll check up on the screen if it was something important. I feel like it might have been. No, it's going to be rinse and repeat with a strategy. It's literally, I've done the same thing in the markets every single day. Start of the day, look for trend. Next, just look for any zone or any indications further left that we may break our current structure. Like this, literally exactly like this. If you guys can see this, there's an area of consolidation that we may go bullish from, and as you can see, I mean, it was out of session, but we have continued bullish since. Kind of need more confirmation to be confident on anything right now. Some of you might have seen this, not valid really. One candle liquidity, wasn't really like a valid swing or anything like that. Not something that I would look at. Right, yeah, just waiting for a setup now, to be honest. What time is it now? 11:15, still definitely time. If the market wants to roll up its sleeves and throw something. Still nothing. Still nothing. Once again, if we're going off technicals, this is like technically valid, not really. Large zone liquidity is not nice at all. It's kind of like spotted out bearish candles rather than a nice swing formed. Well, this is kind of like a valid swing, but then showing so many upper wicks, which it just kind of shows rejections. It's sellers pushing buying momentum down. Not something that I would look at. Super choppy too. I mean, it's wicks both sides. Anything could happen. Would kind of be crossing your fingers if you were to enter on that. And I mean, yeah, we're outside of session anyway. Nice. Let's not get it wrong this time. 8 AM. What am I seeing? Bullish. Pretty clearly bullish. Breaking more major structure, as well as all of these just minor swings and whatnot. Demand wise, potential just here. More just looking for more zones to be formed, to be honest. Unless this one gets tapped. Not really liking it anymore. Like, this would have been great, but it's just making swings now, and it's just kind of just doing whatever. Not a great fan. Are there any more zones that's been made? Yes, demand here, potential. Quite a clean one at that. Once again, pretty big, just because of how volatile gold is, I guess. But liquidity is great. Break off liquidity, just the same stuff as I have always said. And just fucks off. Oh. Okay, it's the first Friday of September. That's NFP. If I knew that it was NFP, then I wouldn't have even marked out this. I actually don't trade NFP days. It's not worth it considering the risk of spreads and the fact that it's like the biggest news event that's gonna happen. There's no point. High broken, going to the upside. Would like to see more bullish structure. We're sitting on massive gaps. As we know, gaps like to be filled, and retracement likes to be retraced. Retracement. Still showing bullish though. No valid zones. If I zoom in a bit more, still, yeah, literally no valid zones. Maybe if it was accuracy, it would be valid, but this is why we don't use accuracy. Because I think it tapped back here and just stopped out. It's backtested. It's not just kind of giving another pair another rule for no reason. We have, like, know from experience, I know from all of my backtesting, that this wins more. Over the long term, even if there's a potential accuracy zone that does show a winner, there's probably another 2 or another 3 that don't. So it's not worth it in the long term. which is exactly what we're doing it for, the long term. We're not looking for these quick 1 to 10s that don't mean anything when we lose 11 trades to get to that point. Right. Bullish. I know we did just break this low, but I mean, we're still looking bullish. We'll see if we break this high. Yes. See if we break this high would be, I mean, the ultimate confirmation. Demand wise, not seeing too much. Obviously there is valid demands, but it's only as valid as price moves. Ooh, kind of spitting right now. The zones are only as valid as price that moves towards it. Nope. Never mind. Sounded so much better in my head. What time are we at? Okay, I don't hate this. Don't love it. Don't hate it. B kind of set up. Zone formed on a swing. It's nice. Liquidity is all right. 2 candles forming kind of like a visual swing. That high's broken. And never actually replaced, but we do make another valid level of liquidity and break that high too. Showing great rejections would be something that I might look to take. Let me just backtest it. I mean, we'll see firsthand with this kind of internal breakage what would happen. Anything else that I should mention right now? Nope. Oh my god, wow. I mean, that's crazy. Even a B setup in the strategy is still hitting these. Okay, yeah, this was a... Sorry, I kind of just marked that out. 300 pips is going to be 200 plus, which is 1 to 1.5. Most have been. I think it's just been a very volatile month for gold. Can't lie. Just a lot of money circulating in here. Liquidity has been seeked too. If you have the discipline, if you have the buffer to go for these technically riskier trades. Could have doubled literally at the close high and pretty much tripled at this highest high. That would definitely have liquidity sent above it. Nice, good shit. This is being a great demonstration of the strategy. I think I've taken, I don't actually know how many trades I've taken. 8, maybe 9. And other than that one loss over on... Why am I talking like a robot? The one loss that we actually re-entered and won off of, so we're actually up on that setup alone. I think we have actually had a 100% win rate. Okay, I was going to say... Doesn't matter what I was going to say, because we are out of session. I was going to say there's like a demand down here, but it invalidated anyway. Once again, rinse and repeat, straight to 8 o'clock on the next day. Did go an hour too far, but it's on bullshit right now. Just consolidation from a potential point where we could go bearish from. I'm going to have to wait and see. I'm going to need multiple swings confirming a specific trend to actually take anything specific. Really, really bullish. And are we going to continue making bullish structure? Tis the question. Nope. It's going to be a huge news event and it's going to mess up everything anyway. Also works. Do what you want. Sorry. I'm just so sarcastic today. Jeez. And that's the end of session. No setups on that day. Just kind of wasn't on much at all. I mean, from the start of the day, wasn't really showing too much. Potentially so something could have happened. Didn't want to, and then news wanted to hit. It's completely fine. Once again, there was probably a trade or two thrown, like a setup or two, like A grade or something on other pairs. So we don't need to rely everything on gold. If you wanted to, it is probably one of our most winning pairs, probably top 2, top 3. So if you have the discipline to watch the market every single day and expect not to take a trade, then I mean you can be insanely profitable trading this one pair alone. I mean, I'll do the tally anyway, but you'll see also through my wink wink nudge nudge backtesting results spreadsheet over in my Discord. Free to join. Yeah, I mean you'll just see how profitable it actually is. Right. Good that I didn't start talking. Once again, another 130, probably unemployment claims. Looks like USD news, just considering how much effect it has on the market. USD is going to be the biggest treasury, so it's pretty much going to affect every currency in some way, even if it is just a little bit. I think that's right. Once again, I know fuck all about economics or the economy. Don't know if those two are different at all. Right. Potential. I'm not a great fan. Forward test. I wouldn't take this in live markets. I'm just gonna say that now, before I try and convince myself otherwise. It's not nice, and I'm gonna explain why. I'm not just gonna say that this isn't a. What I'm seeing is valid liquidity, multiple levels of valid liquidity that both break their respective highs. But coming back towards our zone, which I'll talk about in a second, don't like our zone that much. We make multiple swings to the downside, still potential to retrace, but who knows if this alone is going to hit our take profit. Quite a nice entry. I'm talking about everything right now, Jesus. Our zone itself, not the best. It is kind of formed on a visual swing, but it's not backed up. We want to see it backed up by, I don't know, 2 to 3 candles. Some more bearish candles to show valid swing and confirmed direction. That, we're going to get to this point and then continue to the upside, rather than, well, in a bullish market structure, we're not going to break a higher high, are we? We're not going to make a lower low. Break a higher low, sorry. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'll forward test, but I would not take this in the live markets. That is a sell position. Nice. Just there. 445 will also be a 1 to 2.5. Considering how big the structure is, and it is actually filling these gaps, it's not a terrible take profit. It is not going to be hit. It's just a lot less chance. Why are you going to take a lower quality setup when you could just wait for an A+ setup and it has that much higher chance to win? Are you going to be happy with taking a loss on this, or are you just going to use hindsight to say, oh, I shouldn't have taken this trade because of this? I love how everything is so easily explainable. I said multiple reasons why I wouldn't take this, and it lost. It is all logic with this strategy. And, I mean, literally every little thing you can just explain. Coming to almost around that month kind of time, which is cool. Was kind of a setup down here, made a visual swing. Wasn't something that I would take. Once again, the zone is terrible. Did I call this valid? Not valid for me. Not valid for this strategy, especially. This would be like a D, a D tier setup. I'm only going to be taking A+ to B sometimes. Within these gradings, there'll be a lot of different confluences that I can also use. Regardless, still looking bullish, still have some time to potentially make a zone and tap like so. Technically valid. Have we just seen some bearish structure, breaking lows, and then coming up and failing to kind of break these more major highs? Well, no, they're still minor highs, but not something that I'd take. Liquidity is also asked a few setups ago, or quite a few setups ago. I think I mentioned that earlier. This isn't a full swing, is it? This isn't going to be valid liquidity. It's multiple one candle liquidities. It's not one good swing. So yeah, definitely not something I'd take. I think the only reason I mention it is because I just, once again, hindsight, saw these rejections. But I mean, let's see. Doesn't hit. It's so easy to explain, and it's gonna preserve your capital so much long term. Just sticking to what you know, because I think with this strategy, it's so easy to know a lot. It's not complicated, so you can get your head around so much of the market, and the rest is just going to be experience. Once again, rinse and repeating, trading demo, trading smaller prop firm accounts, and actually understanding the market more just from seeing it in action. And it's not finding a reason for every single loss, but it's finding a reason for your mistakes that is going to treat you long term, and actually make you improve. There's this, I don't like it. Liquidity is very far. Once again, we'll see if this loses, and if so, once again, it's just like another easy way to explain like why we lose. It's hard to link this to this zone at this point. Like, liquidity was taken so long ago. Movement towards zone is actually so nice though. Forward test, still got a chance to win. Literally just a 1 to 1.5. Super like not optimistic. Okay, wow, that's one candle. That's a bit that's a bit crazy. Even lower quality setups can still win sometimes. We are still showing like we're kind of going off two of the confluences. Liquidity isn't as much in play here. There is a swing, but it's more just going off market structure. You know, we're breaking that high, showing bullish. And obviously our demand zone. Not something that I would take. I'm not going to add it to the backtest results. Let me take that off too so I don't confuse myself. And we can just go... I mean, is there still going to be time for a setup? If we break the high and come down to this kind of area very quickly, yeah. I don't hate this, but I don't like the fact that we're not really breaking any highs. Not a great fan. Let's see. Only thing we can do right now. Okay, I'm just being a prick right now. There was a valid trade here that I didn't expect to see a setup formed and hit so quickly, and something was turning me off. We didn't break this high convincingly. That's not going to be necessary. It's not going to completely invalidate a trade for us, but it would be great to see a break of structure further to the left. Why this is super valid, if we literally look at, I mean, pretty much in our entire session, we've been going in an uptrend. Higher high, higher low. I'm terrible at marking this out. Higher high, higher low, higher high. We've broken these highs like 3 times consecutively, 4 times including this one. This is something that I actually would take. This wasn't great to see, but it's not going to invalidate it for us. It closed, yeah, it showed kind of convincing breaks of this high. Once again, could be nicer. Probably around a B, maybe edging A. And I only say that because liquidity is so nice, really nice liquidity. Movement towards zone, really nice. And our zone itself is the lowest zone on this entire swing, and this zone isn't valid, so there's not much that the market might want to go down to, if that makes sense. And for those 3 reasons, this is giving me a lot of confidence. I did also see it start shooting off, so my bad. I would have taken this regardless, I promise. Go and backtest yourself. I'm literally just backtesting this strategy today for 2 reasons. Mainly to show you guys, and additionally, I need to update my backtest results over in my Discord. So 2 birds with 1 stone. I think you guys can definitely learn a lot off of I don't want to pat myself on the back, but off of a profitable trader's backtesting mindset. Yeah, I'm not a great fan of backtesting. This isn't actually a bad session though. Once again, could have held to this liquidity, giving us an entire RR, more potential to go more to the left. Probably I wouldn't. Potentially I might hold till this high. It's crazy by putting our take profit up that much more is going to completely cover an entire loss. I love looking at it that way, and that's why I like taking higher RRs. We can lose an entire trade and still be up a great risk to reward on this one. And they're the kind of things, that's the kind of capital preservation that's going to treat you so nice long term. You may not see it directly, but it's very nice. I'll go over a couple more days, just because I'm here and I'm kind of in the swing of it. 8 AM buys. I'm looking for buys, sitting on a lot of gaps, so we'll see if you want to break these lows. We'll see if you want to invalidate every zone. Speaking of, there's actually no valid zones yet, so one would have to be formed, like so. Kind of listening to me. This is a valid demand, the lowest demand in all of these swings, valid for us to take. This is an accuracy, because we don't take accuracies, that's what I'm trying to say. Great liquidity, great break of the high. All we need to see is some great movement back towards our zone. Not bad, broke the high once again. Oh yeah, we're outside of session now anyway. That's a shame, that was quite a nice setup. Don't think that's going to be, okay, invalidated once again. I was just going to say, don't think that's going to be valid for the day after. Right, I'm just going to leave it here anyway. I've done over a month of backtesting, which is fine for me. That's great for me. Once again, I literally don't really backtest anymore, so it was definitely really nice. I thought I missed a trade. I did actually miss a trade. That's why I kind of shut up there, because I just remember taking a trade on this day. Can't lie. Don't know what's so significant about the 16th. Okay. Nice. Just ear-rape my video, bro. Liquidity formed close to our zone. The zone itself not formed on a swing. Kind of formed on a visual swing though. I don't hate the zone. It's also a great size considering how proportionally big the setup is. Broke high multiple times, confirming trend, making other levels of liquidity and breaking highs. Yeah, and then we come pretty much straight back down to zone and give great rejections on 3 different candles. Did actually fake out. Unfortunate, but it's not terrible. It would just be a 1 to 1.5 on the original entry, and obviously a 1 to 1.5 on the second entry. This would be break of candle. We already had a valid entry into this trade, and then it just gave another one. 1 to 1.5 risk to reward, covers that prior trade fully, plus giving us another 0.5 risk to play with. Once again, could cover some of another loss. The exact same thing happened on that other re-entry that we took earlier. So those two added together actually add together to cover an entire loss, which is not bad at all. Stumbling on my words. Oh my, could have taken up to liquidity. Once again, that's going to be completely up to intuition. I'm not going to mention that too much because you have no reason to like kind of believe me. I mean, I've shown so much on the strategy already. All you can do to really trust me at this specific point in time is go and backtest for yourself. Go and backtest the strategy. Backtest it on any of the valid pairs over the valid sessions that I trade, 8 AM until 3 PM UK time, with the valid TP rules, with the valid entry models. Don't go and backtest it invalidly. And then if you don't see good results, I mean, you still probably will. It's still showing everything that the market wants to see, just not to a quality where it can be super, super profitable in the long term. This is such a foolproof strategy. One of the most powerful strategies that I actually know of. I mean, the most powerful strategy that I know of because I know so much about it. And yeah, that's going to be everything for today. Can't lie. All of this information is going to be available over in my Discord. Feel free to go and check that out if that interests you. Once again, entry models, simplified videos on that, simplified videos on trend, a full beginner course. If you're now starting out and you're still in that kind of like backtesting period where you're still getting a lot wrong, definitely feel free to go and check that out. I mean, I'd recommend it, of course. I mean, there are free channels in there where you can talk to like-minded traders, and it's always going to be useful. Anyways, hope you guys have benefited off of this in some way or another. Like, subscribe, all of that stuff, and I'll see you in the next one for some more information, some more knowledge. Right, waffling. See you later, guys. I was going to do that, but I don't want to.